thanks for joining us. Let's have a conversation about the sale of delegates. It's a bane of our democracy and is now corrupting internal democracy as well. So what really has triggered this? We've seen the Ayawaso East NDC primary. It's thrown up the conversation again. 964 valid votes cast. As we know, there was inducement. The party confirmed it. Motorcycles, televisions, cash, TNT, all paid. And we saw people carrying their lot in this particular elections. And then we have 1 in 10 Ghanaians received inducement. That is what the data is telling us on as far as the CDD's data is concerned. This is the big picture. And the point about this is simple, that if you look at the specifics of Ayawaso East, it simply tells you that it is not the only place this has happened. There is a national dimension to this, which the CDD has talked to us about. They've done extensive work as far as campaign financing is concerned. It is costing politicians and the parties quite a bit to run their internal affairs. For example, in 2021, CDD told us then that it's $100 million to run for the presidential campaign. Now we're talking about some $200 million. And I bet it is far more than this. These are conservative estimates when it comes to the amount of money the parties are spending. So this tells you somebody must fund it. No one individual, not even the parties through their dues, can fund this particular heavy layout. And then you talk about the average cost of parliamentary campaigns in Ghana. I mean, listen, I don't even want to mention these figures because the politicians who join me will tell you that it is far, far, far more than 2020 or 400,000. Who told you that? 400,000 is a lot. But that's the data that we have, Open Society CDD, back then. If you do the latest one, say, for the 2024 elections, you will find that this is in the millions. And we got the former Attorney General to give us a sense of this when he told us simply that in his constituency to win, he's spending some 3 to 4 million cedis just to win that particular seat. The question is, first, where is this money going? There are some legitimate costs, of course, travel, adverts, etc. But that shouldn't cost you 3 to 4 million. The money is going somewhere that we'll need to interrogate. That's where the issue really is. And if you look at his constituency, it's a very relatively small constituency. You have 28,000 people, and he got 12,000 votes. Well, 12,000 votes, he spent up to 4 million cedis to win that particular seat. That tells you that if you are not rich, you aren't getting it. And so it has really become going to those who can afford, which is at the heart of a democratic problem, which we're facing currently. It's fueling corruption, because he has to get the money somewhere. Those who give him the money, when he becomes a minister, it's not him alone, the government, the entire government, they want something out of it. And that's when people then begin to cut corners so they can begin to service those people who have helped them. So they have to look for personal savings, family support, loans, special interest groups, business financiers, and that's where the problem begins to emerge. But we also know from a CDD report years back that there is illicit financing from galamsey coming in, from drug trafficking coming in, all those illicit financing also coming because those people also want favors. And so they will finance the politicians to win their seats. So we have the highest bidder democracy. Not necessarily the guy who qualifies and serves our best interests. That is the problem we're going to be analyzing how to fix. Thankfully, the Constitutional Review Committee had recommended a few interventions that the presidency will have to look at. They recommend an independent registrar for political parties, a campaign period limit. The shorter the period, the less money you spend is the thinking. Spending caps for candidates, you put it there, but you have to implement and enforce independent approval of filing fees, mandatory financial disclosure, and regulate abuse of incumbency. All that the presidency will be considering which of these to implement. The NDC has come in for some criticism because when they issue those statements to say, well, they have noticed vote buying, the president moving swiftly to recall, basically sacked the ambassador to Nigeria because he's the only government official in there who was part of the primary. The party issued a quick statement to say, we're going to be investigating. They were applauded because we haven't seen such swift action by a political party before when it comes to internal elections. And all of us were expecting something really drastic to happen on the back of that. The reset agenda we set was full tilt, and this is what people voted for. And then we're told days later that unfortunately Status quo must prevail because of X, Y, Z excuses. The parties here, they have to justify that for us. But they've set up a 7-member committee, and they've given a mandate to do a broader investigation and make recommendations. We'll learn about that committee's remit on the show, but then expand it to the MPP also. What real core reforms must we do to fix this monster? If I speak to the politicians, they need this. Quietly, they need somebody to do something about this. Because if it's fixed and the playing field is level, they will save money. They don't want to be burdened the way it's been burdened. And so we need to help them get to a place where there's legislation that helps everybody and they all enforce it. So let's have the conversation after this. And thanks for staying with us. Just before we came on, we're talking about fugu. I'm pretty sure you noticed that I've changed from my suit to fugu because I came in and realized that my entire guest, panelists on the show, were dressed in fugu. I didn't get the memo that today everybody else needed to dress in this. So I just had to grab mine from my vehicle because I had one day already. I was intending to wear it for another function, but I put it on and put my suit elsewhere. So yes, welcome to the fugu edition of PM Express. So yes, PMX is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks. It's strong, it is tough, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, and Stanbic CIB Impact Series. If you're looking for the right storage tank, look for Syntex Tanks and just look for the tortoise on that tank. That is the mark of quality. You can look for them across the country, a strong, a tough. And of course, before you sleep tonight, use Pepsodent Cavity Fighter to guarantee stronger teeth and whiter teeth, also healthier. Just look for that and use it to brush before you sleep. And then the Stanbic Bank doing some wonders. If you're looking for opportunities, they are there for you. Where others spotting risk, they will unlock value. At the Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, they partner with businesses to drive Ghana and Africa's growth. Look for them across the country or call them on 03028157789. My guest joining me tonight for a conversation, Mustapha Gbande is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Inusaf Hussein is a member of the NDC also, and he was a member of the NDC Ayawaso East Investigative Committee. But I'm more delighted to have him because he's a former member of Parliament. The thing about former members of Parliament is that they've experienced it. And so they are able to articulate the problem in ways that those who are currently sitting members can do. And they also come to the conversation with solutions-oriented because they know what they face. And so I'm delighted to have them. It's the same reason why I invited Andy Appiah-Kubi, who is a veteran member of Parliament. He's lost his seat, and he has insights into this also. I mean, I tell you, when I speak to the former MPs, they have great insight into this problem. And I wanted to tap into that because I think the nation is getting to a point where we must find a solution. Andy Appiah-Kubi joins us in the studio, former MP for Asante North, as we explore the solutions to the challenge of vote buying. Also joining me is Richard Ahiagba. He is the communications director for the NPP, and I know the party itself has grappled with their own challenges with this in all of the elections. And the recent one, there was this famous phone call that I believe one of the candidates had placed to his relative, and that was recorded. I mean, we all watched it, and the candidate was on the phone screaming, "Send the money to the Ashanti region, send the money." And, you know, it tells the story. It is a big problem. It's a big problem indeed. Let's try and deal with it. Yeah, of all places, yeah. I don't know if all of you saw that video, but it was very fascinating. I don't know why he put the thing on loudspeaker, but the camera was there and he picked it. It was shared on one of the prominent channels. Anyway, we have CDD also joining us, CDD Codeo. They've done some great research work in this area too. So I'm delighted that we can speak to Joseph Frimpong, the Codeo Secretariat Programs Officer and Coordinator at CDD. Now, there's a gender part of this conversation, and there's a particular agency that has been doing great work researching. And because, as you know, women also get entangled into this whole matter. The men find the money. Women, I don't know how they manage. It's part of the reason why many say you have a smaller number of women in Parliament because it's so expensive. And for a woman to come up with that money, you can understand why sometimes, I think other NDC young people, they decided implementing an affirmative action by reducing some of the filing fees for women. So let's have that other side of the conversation with GenSet, and the Executive Director at the Gender Center for Empowering Development joins us as Terry. I'm grateful, all of you, for joining me. Let's come to the studio first. I want to first start with Mustapha. So, Mustafa, when the statement started flying in, I must admit, I felt finally a political party is getting to grips with this particular problem. And yes, this is the reset agenda that were promised. The president moved very swiftly. Even before anything had started, he had recalled one of the aspirants in Ayawaso East. You had issued a statement confirming there has been a vote buying, the minority. It was swift. Everything was moving at pace. First, what did the party see that prompted that chain of actions?
Well, thank you very much, and good evening to our cherished listeners. I think that basically, let me first note that the platform on which the reset agenda was birthed and amplified was the NDC, okay? And then we came into government. So one would naturally expect that as we reset the country, the party will reset along, where His Excellency intimates that we have to build a more responsible society, a more orderly society, with new leaders emerging for a new Ghana. And so in probably 2024, this would have happened both in the NDC, in the MPP, in the other parties. We spoke about it and then everybody let go. But this time, the party then decides that reforms into the country must as well take place in the party. So when the issues, the complaint went viral over the videos and things that people have captured, the party then decided that enough was enough. This is the right time to send a strong signal that going forward, the NDC is dismissive of any act that is closer to voter inducement and vote buying. And so that was what prompted that swift action. In fact, but for the constraint of time, a different thing would have occurred.
Like?
I won't go into it. A different thing would have occurred because we would have gone further and further to ensure that what probably some people expected would have happened.
So when you say time, you're talking about the filing with the EC?
Filing. The party
which
ordinarily,
was today.
Yes, would have followed suit to actually, but like the committee said, I mean, when you read the committee's work, I said that it came from a complex jurisprudence of judgment. It was a judgment and no judgment. They went into the issues. When we look into the NDC's constitution, we don't have explicit provisions that deals with matters of this nature when they arise. Both the NDC, MPP, and other political parties, we do not have. In fact, if you look at our national laws, except in the People's Representations Act, which makes some provisions on these matters, you have minimal touches on other laws. And so we then decided that we adopted the committee's recommendation that for want of time, because the election that saw the candidate emerge was not tampered with, the Electoral Commission's processes were truly followed. The police did their work. If you went ahead to nullify that resource without having to resort to the laws, and also because we don't have explicit provisions in our constitution, people want to seek judicial redress. But there's no time for all of these to happen. So we then decided that, okay, we'll go through to allow the candidate to file. We noted that there was some widespread of items being shared and all sort of things. But we'll go through the election. Of course, the election is very important to us, but we'll expand and extend the work of the committee to ensure that they actually do thorough work to recommend to the party a framework that will reform and transform our party going into the future from branch elections, constituency, region, national, presidential elections, and even how we approach national elections.
And you have published your calendar. It starts immediately.
Immediately.
Or ending in December.
Exactly.
When does it start? When does the calendar start with the branch election?
We're actually doing the limited registration now.
Now, okay.
So somewhere next 2 months, elections will begin.
So you need to this work to complete?
Once the committee is finished and the framework is ready, I am very certain that the party will get this to be included in our regulations that we have passed.
So we have to probably amend constitution based on their recommendation.
Not necessarily constitution. The party, through its feck and neck, is mandated to make regulations that regulate our elections.
Okay.
And so I'm sure that it will become part of that regulation going forward. And so we actually thought that even by the mere statement that we took a drastic position on this matter, it's enough. It hasn't happened in the history of this country. What we then expect at this time is that other political parties will now rise from their slumber.
But here's the criticism.
Yes.
Nothing happened.
Something happened.
You confirmed that the votes have been bought.
Yeah.
And yet there was absolutely no consequence.
The consequence...
No, any of the
have been
individuals
consequence.
involved.
Look, number one, Baba Jamal, who is actually an appointee, the only government appointee, senior government appointee, an ambassador in that election, was reprimanded by His Excellency the President. One, because the reset agenda culminated into the establishment of a code of conduct for the first time that regulates the conduct of all government appointees. The mere fact that these controversy had to do with his involvement was enough for the president to take a decision. And the president took that decision. And we are happy about that decision.
And the others?
No, we have the committee. We apart from the committee's report, we actually have recommended to the president now.
But the president can't punish
to
him
apply.
Because none of them work for him.
No. If you are recalled, if you were sent to do something and you are recalled.
I mean, the others who are not appointees of the president.
Yes.
In government, the president cannot. The other aspirants.
That's why I mean, if the description of what has transpired to us constituted an inappropriate conduct, because again, if it was captured in our constitution, I'm sure that it would have been given a different description. But because it is not captured, we saw it as inappropriate. Can you go beyond reprimand when a conduct is inappropriate? No. Unless we want to assume the role of a state institution, which we don't have that capacity. But the mere fact that we are here talking about it and seeking to bring an end to that menace in itself is an effort that is worth commending.
Hold on, let me bring your other colleagues in. Inusa, so you were asked to do a job. For clarity, did you recommend that nothing should happen, status quo must go on, the man must just go file and move on with their lives? What did you find, and why did you come to that conclusion?
Thank you.
The evidence was clear, was it not?
Thank you so very much. I mean, you asked and this was my former president. I wish to acknowledge him on the campus of the University of Ghana.
As an SRC president?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
You campaigned for him, he campaigned for you.
I campaigned for him.
You campaigned for him?
He was in my team.
Okay.
I was in his
And
team.
indeed, it was the first time that somebody from Makwafuho was becoming
A farmer, so we wanted to support a farmer to become.
So all the farmers support.
Yeah. And at that time, university elections was not
about partisan.
No, it was not that infiltrated by political parties. Yeah. Now, so you asked Mustafa a question about the reset. And let me just tell you. One, the electorate gave NDC the power to govern this country on the promise that we will do things differently. That difference, that doing things differently, should extend to our internal operations, internal matters. The party, if the party tolerates matters of this nature that happened at Ayawasu, it will sap the confidence that people who gave us the mandate to govern this country on the promise of doing things differently, that confidence. And they will begin to draw their obvious conclusions. Even with a report, a detailed investigation and a report, there are some people who are utterly dissatisfied that something drastic did not happen.
Yeah.
The conclusion.
Civil society is not happy.
Yeah, so we'll come to that.
Yeah.
What conclusion did we draw? We drew the conclusion, we came to the conclusion, unalloyed, firm conclusion that there was widespread voter buying and inducement, vote buying and inducement in the Ayawaso. And it was not limited to one candidate.
Yeah.
Now, so we said the party could annul the results of the election.
Okay. So you included that in your...
Yes, that was the recommendation.
Okay.
But we, however, drew the party's attention to the legal and practical hurdles they will have to overcome to be able to do that.
Tell us, what are these?
First of all, the elections were conducted and supervised by the Electoral Commission. The results were certified by the Electoral Commission as being credible, being done in a fair and
free and fair
manner. So that is the verdict of the Electoral Commission. Can a party, the jurisprudential issue here is that can a party or a political party overturn the verdict of the Electoral Commission?
When they did not conduct elections.
The election. Can the party do that? No, I understand. No, by law. You can do that by law. And you have to go to court. But you see, I understand people's opinion and the clamor for annulment coming from the public. People have a feeling.
Including majority, by the way.
Yes,
Very experienced.
Yes, people have a feeling
Majority side of parliament.
that the self-authorizing act of a political party in a situation like this will give that act the force of some political force. People have that feeling, and they're entitled to that feeling. But the question is whether it will have legal basis to stand on. That's the question you must answer. And I've said repeatedly, what happened in Ayawaso were acts of impunity because they violated the express provisions of our laws.
Which laws? And that's a
The
one.
Political Party,
That's
the
an
Political
internal-
Party Act.
Okay.
The Representation of People's Amendment, the CI 127.
Which says what exactly?
Even the old act, Avoidance of Discrimination Act. I mean, I can name all the criminal code.
Our constitution.
Our constitution itself. Again, on an internal matter basis, it violated our code of ethics. It violated our values, the principles that we stand for, the philosophy of the party. That's why the reaction was swift. Now, do you deal with an impunity by acting with impunity? Do you deal with a wrong by acting wrongly? Can you do that? Is it reasonable? Is it responsible? So people can say what all that they...
Is it lawful?
Is it lawful? So people can say that they are disappointed. But the central core issue is to answer the question, what will be the legal basis for annulling results that have been certified as credible by the Electoral Commission? Governance-wise, you will be destroying the sanctity and integrity of the Electoral Commission if you do that, governance-wise. Now, the second thing is that there must be a basis for doing that even in your NDC constitution. There must be a basis.
That explains you didn't have any.
Well, that is not that like that. The nearest is Article 52, which says that where a matter is not provided for in the NDC constitution, the National Executive Committee can do that. Okay, that's the nearest. And I can understand. Because all parties, and he's right, I don't think that MPP has it in their constitution or any other political party. Because all parties are operating on the premise that when elections are conducted and completed, no person, body, or institution within the party should have the power to annul it. And so we must go to court. That's the basis.
Okay.
Is that basis still legitimate, reasonable, and rational in the circumstances? But that is the basis upon which political parties have not included annulment, because people can act with impunity. The third is that, the third grounds that we drew their attention to was today. We submitted a report yesterday, 4 o'clock. Today.
We are almost out of time.
We're almost out of time. Today is by the calendar of the EC, today is the filing date.
And I was praying
that we shouldn't so even if the party overcame the hurdle, the legal hurdle of whether or not they have the capacity, mandate, or power to overturn results certified by the Electoral Commission, they have to escalate the recommendation to the National Executive Committee to provide for the way and manner to do that. And that is not a 24-hour matter, not so.
Yeah.
So, but we drew attention to these challenges, but recommended that the party could annul, taking into consideration these issues. So that was our recommendation.
Interesting. Richard, do you have sympathy for that, as you just said there?
No, you know I don't, and you don't.
No, for academic purposes.
Yes. But you know, it's an anticlimax, really. Given everything that happened, it was an anticlimax. And I think the NDC blinked. They had a very unique opportunity to take action on this matter that we are not going to localize to the NDC. As to its pervasiveness, we all agree that it's a matter we have to deal with. But I think they blinked. And they blinked at a time where they didn't have reason. They had the moral support of the country to move forward. I see my senior brother talk about, the action breached almost all our laws, okay? And then including even ethical standards. But just take the Representation of People's Act. Clearly, I think Section 33 or so specifically criminalizes that. Okay, so if your constitution doesn't provide anything for it, go by that. Because all our laws, party laws, are subject to.
And who pronounced that criminality?
But I'm saying that now you see. So I'll come to that. But you see, so expressly, it has offended a law of the land.
Yes.
Now, I hear that the OSP has spoken to the candidate.
Yes.
So now, what are we setting ourselves up for? Assuming that action goes ahead, and then he's found culpable, which the NDC was seeking to, and according to the report, they found them culpable, except that they said there's no express legal provision in their constitution to deal with it. But there's a national law that can deal with that.
So there's jeopardy there, down the line.
Absolutely, which means that the NDC is putting up somebody who is jail-bound, or who potentially could be found guilty of having offended our laws. So what are they gaining? If they succeed in filing him today, and tomorrow an action is brought against him, and it's seen that he himself admitted, except to say that his intention is not to induce the people, but that is not his intention that account. It's the person who is taking it and what effect it would have on him. Electorally, that's what counts.
And so you have filed the petition?
Yes.
Directly with the OSP?
Absolutely.
The party, I mean.
Absolutely. So where we are now, potentially, the good people of Ayawaso East should not just vote for the NDC because the candidate they are bringing is jail-bound. He's jail-bound. Because now, the rationalization, I'm happy my senior brother was on the committee and is here. Their reasoning is sound, okay? But beyond that, and then, of course, the report is clear. They didn't shy away from the matter. They left it to the party to make a decision. Yeah. And now Mustafa and my senior brother, they are left running to find something to hide behind. Everything they are trying to hide behind is exposing them. Because really the excuses don't wash. They needed to take action. Okay, even if it was in the 11th hour, it is better for them not to put him up than to put him up only to be taken.
But that will ignore to your favor.
But we didn't cause it. Now, did we cause it?
Now who caused them?
They didn't cause it. Okay. So truthfully, I think that the issue itself, apart from the issue of law, and I think that the NDC should have taken action in this case, I think that we must deal with that broadly.
Yeah, and I'll come to that. I think that's a broad question. I want to get Andy's thoughts on this. Andy,
Right.
This was a very interesting case, as it's panned out. We just explained it. What are your own thoughts, drawing from your own experience?
Well,
And listen to what has happened.
we have a very complex situation to deal with now. The legal implications of actions and inactions. I side with my brother saying that we needed to overcome the legal barriers before we could step into the areas of ethics. You see, once the election was supervised, declared, and gazetted by the Electoral Commission, we shift into a realm of law where subsequent actions will be dictated by pronouncements of the courts. Yeah. So, no, when they started that we were going to investigate, I said, these people, they are going to waste time. Because they could annul, but that would bring legal consequences that would also play them out of the whole contest. So it stands to reason that they needed to take the least favorable course. Yeah. Because whatever the case, this has been a process that has been supervised within the law, supervised by the agency, mandated by law to do so. They have done it. They have declared. The only person who can legitimately annul the election will be the court of law. And they didn't have time on their side to pursue that interest. And in any case, if they had also annulled it, the winning candidate could also have gone to court to challenge that decision, that it was unlawful. And that could have had space in the law. So it is good that they have cut their coat to fit with the circumstances of the times.
Evans, can I ask Vice?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so what grounds would he have now to go to court when he can be shown expressly that what you have done is offensive to a law?
Yes.
So that what law is going to protect him?
Right. Look, I know that the OSP is investigating this,
right.
And this is in another area of law.
No, but I'm saying that the representation of people's acts,
yes,
okay, clearly he's violated that, his conduct.
It must be proven,
which
within a competent court of law.
So
all of us here,
the requirement of natural justice.
Yes, all of us sitting down here.
You cannot
pronounce him guilty.
And I moreover remind him that in a criminal matter, the interest of the individual is subsumed under the interest of the state. That's why we don't have private prosecution for criminal offenses in Ghana.
And in any case, before you even start, the accused person is deemed to be innocent until proven. So it doesn't.
But they've been proven guilty already.
No,
it was a committee.
Except that the committee has found them guilty.
Yes, he's guilty. The party.
I mean, you found that the evidence of
the committee was not an inquisitorial committee.
But you found that
the committee was a fact-finding committee.
And you made facts. We found fact that is back.
We settled on questions of facts, not questions of guilt.
And these facts would have to be tendered in court for pronouncement.
I'm okay.
Very interesting situation. So these facts will have to be filed in court for the courts to deduce the facts through the law and take a position that is lawful. And all that we didn't have time to do. Now, it doesn't also mean that all these facts will be thrown out. The danger is that we could go through the process, somebody will come out as a winner, and then litigation can also start.
Yeah.
And the representation of the People's Act, it says it has 3 levels of decisions that one should pray for when you are in court. One of them, annul the elections and call for a rerun. The second one, annul the election and declare the second party a winner.
Yeah.
And the next one, declare that the person before the court has won. So, and in Ghana, what I have seen of all the electoral challenges in the courts, they have also always gone for the A, not the B. But if you look at it, when we have been in contest and you have won by default, and that default has compelled the courts to annul the election, how fair is it for us to go for a rerun rather than consider the second person? It's like a baton race. We go on a baton race, somebody comes first at the cross the border. Then that person crosses without a baton. So obviously, he is a default winner. Instead of disqualifying that person, you say, all of you go and start again. The energy that the second person will have expended will not be the same as that which he will expend the second time. So that is why the law allows for substitution. So that if it is not by my fault that the annulment has come, it is only fair
that you become the...
I haven't done it right without any default and haven't come to be second.
So Andy and Nula, I want to return to the one fundamental. Do we all agree then that vote buying, as was seen with the evidence in Ayawaso East, and as we see in many elections locally, internal and external in Ghana, is expressly forbidden by our laws?
Yes. We were discussing consequences.
Okay.
We were discussing
both internal party elections
and external.
And external, as in state-run elections.
Because the laws, the constitution, the
parties are creatures of...
No. Apart from that, only a political party has to conduct their affairs in accordance with
the constitution.
The
democratic
let me ask a question.
principle, democratic tenets. So,
for the purpose of education, we don't have a provision in our constitution. Tell us about yours.
No, we don't.
Yeah, but
you see, that does not absolve you from the national laws.
Because national laws are there. But that is what I wanted to explain.
Let me explain the three scenarios my former president has given.
So I can hear from my civil society.
Yes, under the Political Parties Act, which gives the right to persons to challenge the validity of an election. Now, so if I contest an election with Andy, and I think that Andy has been declared, and I think that the declaration was otherwise invalid, and that I ought to be declared the winner of the elections. I go to court to say that there was a mathematical or arithmetic error in the computation of or compilation of the results, and that the compilation should be redone, or recollation of the results. And if the recollation proves that, in fact, Andy was wrongly elected, I will be declared. It's not that I'm second. I will be declared elected, because it's a mathematically wrong calculation. Now, if the elections were so tainted, and as I use the word so tainted by illegalities, because the law is
the default is from the first person.
The law is not interested in de minimis. The law accepts the fact that you cannot have a foolproof election. So the law itself in elections everywhere, universally, is not interested in de minimis.
Let me ask a question. When you say it's tainted, well, under the law, could that include vote buying?
Yes.
It could include vote buying.
Yes. Because vote buying distorts the outcome of an election.
Even the law.
So you're saying
that's the number one.
In our courts, under our laws, an election can be annulled if proving that it was tainted by vote buying.
Yeah, but that's a criminal act.
Yes. Okay. And even fraud.
But that's interesting. So why haven't we done that?
No, we can't do that.
It's so prevalent.
We had 72 hours to sit as a committee. The party had less than 5 hours to take a decision.
Okay, so those are so convenient.
The court system does not run on hours. It runs on years. So we can't do that.
I'm just giving the warning into the future.
Yes.
But Evans.
Sorry, he said something. I'll come to you. Let me hear.
You see, so that if we have substantial default in the declaration, then opportunities are ahead of us for somebody to go to court and challenge the validity of the election. Because don't forget, the Constitution expects a free and fair election.
And the free can actually include the fact that the process was influenced by vote.
Let me hang this warning and go into the issues of whether or not we as a panel will approve of the default within the electoral system. All of us, I'm sure, all of us sitting down here, none of us will be happy to find this thing repeated. But the fact of the matter is also that It has occurred in every election,
including yours.
Including
I have heard you publicly. I heard you publicly complain about how your.
I said it.
You were priced out.
You see, I said it again.
He was priced out of it.
But again,
so Andy knows that we have turned our elections into auctions.
Yes.
The highest standard. Not even the highest.
Monday, all of you, give me a second. I want to bring in our civil society friends into the conversation. Estaf, to you first. So it's very clear from what the lawyers have said that this whole process that we've been dancing around, actually, there is recourse in law to punish those who are found to have bought votes and influence outcomes simply based on the depth of their pockets. Do you think that this NDC case study is an opportunity missed?
Good evening to your viewers, Evans. I think, yes, it's an opportunity missed. They could have done something better with how the situation happened. It was so glary, I mean, in the news and everything. But again, I'm not so much surprised because if you look at all the internal elections of NDC and MPP, it's clear that this has been going on. I remember the youth and women's internal elections, there were sharings of stove, TV, so this is not news. In MPP, the same thing happened. And so I think they have normalized it. And I have a feeling that the NDC quickly did the press statement and everything just because of the cry that Ghanaians came out with. That is why they felt, let's do something for them to feel we are actually doing something. But for the president to come in to even recall the ambassador, I think it was late. The moment he expressed his interest, and I think their general secretary mentioned that if you're an appointee and you want to occupy any elected position, you have to resign 6 months. And so if the president really wanted to say that the reset agenda, you can forfeit serving the country and pursue your personal goals. So immediately you express your interest, we recall you. And so if you look at all these things, I think it was just to cover up and just to make us feel that they are doing something. But in essence, it's something that has been with them for a very long time. And all the political parties, strangely, even the smaller ones, PNC, CPP and all that, they still pay, they all pay. And it's shameful that delegates are willing to take 10 cities, 5 cities, 20 cities just to elect their leaders. And for me, from a gender perspective, I look at it as a place of just making our democracy not inclusive enough, because we can agree to it that the political party are the main gateway to access public office. And so if the people who are supposed to safeguard our democracy are not practicing the tenets of the principles of democracy within their system, it becomes a problem. You know that the women, the young people, persons with disability are not kind of people who are easily accessible to financiers and say, we can finance you. The godfathers are willing to bend their monies on these women. And so if they can't contest as branch executives because they do not have money, if they can't contest as constituency executives, regional executives, you look at the statistics, they are national executives. How many women contested? Because they do not have the kind of money. And I think Honorable Betty Modidrisu mentioned the fact that when she wanted to contest as a national chairman, the amount of money she needed, and because she has to go around and you are meeting delegates, giving them money. So this has been something that both parties have been doing. And it's in a way inhibiting some of us. I mean, even you were at our meeting last week or so where one of the women mentioned to contest as a woman organizer, she had to spend over 500,000 Ghana cedis. And you could see, you could tell, where is she going to get the money from?
Yeah.
And how would other people, younger people, be able to contest? So you look at the youth organizers of the political parties, they are all over the age. In Ghana, we say we are part of African Union, and African Union says youth is 18 to 35, but all our youth organizers are over 35, because between the 18 to 35, they do not have the financial power to be able to contest. This is internal. And so they have normalized the practice. And so electorate also feel, if you're able to give delegates this money, why don't you come to us and also give us something? Because we need it. Yeah. And so for me, I think that they've missed an opportunity, but it's not late. We still have to have the conversation.
And on that point, I want to bring in Joseph with CDD Codeo. Joseph, I know CDD has been doing a lot as far as trying to deal with this problem is concerned. The NDC says they form a 7-member committee. Nusa Hussein is on that. I'll get him to expand on that pretty shortly. And I believe they want to take a bigger view of this problem, a broader perspective to this, so they can deal with it at the structural level. Could that be part of the solution? And for the NDC, but on a more national level, we've been dancing around this for a while. What concrete steps should the state be taking, factoring in the Constitutional Review Committee's report, which suggested a few things, constitutional changes? I've seen Occupy Ghana recommend actually a private members bill. I know CDD has a draft legislation also dealing with this. How should the state approach this together with the parties?
Yes, thank you, Evans, and good evening to you, my co-panelists, and to our viewers. For the issues of vote buying is one of the challenges that we are having as regards our democratic development. And for so many years, we know the problem, but how to address it is something that we have not been able to do as a country. So what happened at Ayawaso East during the NDC primaries is something that reflects the challenges or the gaps that we have with the regulations on our political parties and elections in the country. As regards the way things unfolded during the NDC primaries, some of us initially, we thought that we have had the opportunity this time around to make the changes that we needed to make as a country. But the opportunity presented itself, and it also presented us with the challenges that are associated with our existing laws as a country regulating political parties and our elections. Mm-hmm. So that gap that came out as a result of the issues surrounding the Ayawaso East primaries is something that all of us, we need to know the gaps and try as much as possible to address it.
Yeah, and briefly, so to the question, what
yes,
gaps did this present, and how do we resolve it? What proposals do you propose?
So this opportunity that has come, I've seen that there has been a news from Parliament that the MP for Asante North has also sent private member bill. This evening, before we started the program, I also got the notification from Occupy Ghana as regards the private member bill to regulate vote buying and political party financing in general. For CDD Ghana, over the years, we have brought together some technical working group that comprises political parties, academia, media, and civil society organizations to help regulate political party financing generally, which includes...
And full disclosure, myself and Inusa were members of that committee.
Yes.
Just to disclose.
Yes. So that's been done. We have drafted the bill. We have submitted it to the Attorney General's department, and we hope that it will be sent to Cabinet. So with that, we are planning to engage other stakeholders. So within the next 2 weeks, we'll be going to 10 regions to get the views of Ghanaians on the draft bill and also solicit for their support for the bill. So when it comes to the opportunities for us to address that, one, we need to include the internal party primaries into the PNDC law, although the law only captures public elections and doesn't add the internal party primaries. So it's something that we need to add to it. Aside from that, we need to look at how we will be able to make the law work after all these bills, or everything that we are doing as a center or as Ghanaians. Once the laws are implemented, how do we enforce it? That's also something that we need to pay attention to once it is done. So back to the issue of how to address it. One, we need to add the regulation of internal political parties to the existing laws and let the internal regulations of political parties, as the Constitution prescribes, that the operations of political parties to conform to the Constitution. We need to make sure that that thing is implemented. And third, we need to look at the enforcement of the laws once they come into existence. So we all need...
Yeah, just to stay with me on that point, though, Andy, based on your experience,
right,
considering how entrenched this problem is, and dwelling, sort of taking from your own experience, is this fixable with just law? Because we have the laws, from what I've heard,
yes. No, I think that the solution doesn't lie in the promulgation of more laws. Okay. I think the laws, as we have them, are adequate, except that the process of ensuring the selection system is without influence is what we have to work towards. And this one, I recommend that when delegates are known before they vote, you cannot do anything except you go to them and motivate them to vote for you.
And define motivate.
No.
Because
motivation is just either money.
It's another word. That's to induce them.
To induce them. But again...
So it's inevitable, you say, so once you know the delegates ahead of the vote.
Once you know the delegates ahead of the vote, it is inevitable. And indeed, wherever the money comes from, it will be expended.
Can you go to the delegates and say, I'm not giving, I'm just going to campaign?
Let me suggest something. The delegates ought not to be known. So I take my own constituency as Santiachim North. We need 600 delegates to vote. Now, there are registered members of my party in the region of 7,000. Now, all 7,000 people, if they have valid cards and they have paid their dues, let them all qualify to come and vote.
Okay.
When they come to the center to vote, let us have, if there are 7,000, let us have 6,400 no ballots, 600 yes ballots. Mix them up. Let's go through a raffle system. Mm-hmm. Pick a yes vote, and from then on, proceed to go and vote.
So if you pick a no, you're not voting?
If you pick a no, you come back.
Okay.
So that nobody going to the center could be identified as a legitimate voter.
That's an interesting proposition.
Then when you qualify...
I'll give you, but it's an interesting one.
Let me finish. When you go and do your ballot and you pick a yes vote, you don't return. You proceed to the next room to go and vote. Okay. So no one of us would have been identified before the voting. As long as we are able to identify delegates, they will be influenced. Even if we allow everybody to come and vote, what politicians will do will be, I need 3,000 votes to win. So find 3,000 of the registered voters and induce them to come and vote for you.
They'll find a way.
They will find a way.
Yeah.
Wherever the money is coming from, doesn't matter. As long as it goes into the hands of somebody who is seeking the votes.
Let me ask you, why do politicians feel that they are obligated to give to delegates?
No, it is human.
So your presenting service, you said it's inevitable. Why is that inevitable? Why can't you just show up
because
and campaign based on a message?
If you don't pay, somebody will pay. And the delegates themselves, they are more guilty than even the contestants because they are also waiting.
So So we must fix the delegates.
The delegates know that they have to take something from you. And it is, I've gone through elections all this while. And all these elections, all of us have paid. Minister was talking about the SRC election on the campus. That's when we didn't have to pay because...
But you won.
Yes. We won.
So what is the argument? So what change? When you translate that into party politics?
That environment is totally different.
It's different.
This other environment.
But all of you
Not different.
grew and became members of
from
political
that.
parties. Those delegates were once
the
in
delegates
the
on campus.
But Evans, that is not true about current student elections.
No, so elections is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's not true about it now.
Yeah, it's become heavily
it's not true about it today.
But in our time, we didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
But now we are paying. So I'm saying that when delegates are known before the voting time, some inducement of a kind will go to them.
Yeah,
so
Innocent disagrees.
I disagree.
This proposal that I'm bringing,
but
let's perfect it. It is not perfect, but it is something that I think will be improved upon. If delegates are not known,
raffle kind of election.
You can reduce. Okay. You can reduce.
Manny, I'll come to you. I know you also disagree, but I want to hear you.
Public elections into lotteries. You can't do that. His suggestion suggests to me that he's trying to introduce
raffles.
Some form of raffle. Yes. Then,
what is wrong with chance?
Is to fly in the face of democratic principles.
No, but the bigger problem.
Wait. How do you campaign? To who do you campaign? Who do you sell your message to?
To the 7,000 card-bearing members of the party in the constituency.
So why will you discriminate in voting?
No, this is not discrimination.
It's not discrimination.
It's discrimination.
No, you are giving
everybody who is entitled, the Constitution, everybody who is 18 years of age and of is entitled to be registered as a voter and to be given a voter ID. The decision to vote now is with you. It's a right. You can't circumscribe that right.
But it's a right to go through
there's some value in what he's saying.
No, there's no value.
There's some value.
So let me tell you.
What do you do with this? If once you identify them, it's inevitable.
No, it's not inevitable.
Oh, it is.
Let me hear a
counter. Again, that is the normalization argument people make. It's inevitable. No.
But we haven't seen it.
So all countries, go and do your research. Even in the United States of America, even in the European countries. Sarkozy is in jail now. Why do you think he's in jail? He's in jail for an electoral offense.
Yeah, exactly.
The only time financing. Yeah. The only time that you regulate inducement, vote buying, and all those malfeasance and illegalities in elections is by legislation. So, and the legislation must have key components. You cap campaign spending. Key. If, for instance, we have said, also West Gwagon, no candidate can spend above 50,000 Ghana cedis. No candidate.
Then you have to follow him throughout.
So that's a good one. So you have to cap it. And when you cap it, you monitor it. That's how Sarkozy was arrested.
But
that's the first thing. Then
let's assume you're 50,000. How do you monitor?
You mean monitor?
How?
But you can have other people spending the money on your behalf.
On behalf?
Nobody can spend money on your behalf. Nobody can.
How?
Oh, please. But we're telling you how countries have addressed this. And we are part of a universal community of nations that is trying to perfect our system.
Okay,
so we must learn from practices of others.
Yeah. But theirs is not perfect.
So disclosure. Okay. So you disclose. You don't have money. He wants to contest. When he wants to contest, doesn't have money. But he's spending money. He must tell us where he's getting the money.
He may not be spending.
All political parties must tell us. If you are going to spend on him, that's why state institutions must be up and doing.
So I'm spending without his knowledge.
Yes.
I'm going to a constituency, I'm meeting the people, and I'm giving them money.
That's why state institutions must know that Evans is in his constituency, in this constituency, spending money. No. So they will have to track you.
I'm not contesting. I'm going to his constituency.
You cannot for Christmas. You can't spend money that way. Two, they must be transparent.
Don't make
so you, the person who is spending, and you, the person on behalf of whom the money is being spent, must declare it and must show us where the expenditure is taken.
If I go to a candidate's room, and I'm not for this man, but I'm his friend, and I'm this man's friend, and I go to his constituency, I go to a candidate's room and I give him money. My brother is for him. How would you know?
It is practically difficult.
It's nearly impossible.
Who know?
I'll come to. Don't worry. I wanted to land on this proposal. Yeah.
So I was part of the investigative committee. I tell you, as a matter of fact, none of the candidates who appeared before us admitted that they have spent money.
Yes.
But you yet found.
We found.
How?
But that is what investigation is supposed to do. Or you think that investigation will not unravel those?
No, but you will give him a hearing. And when you give the hearing,
we gave the candidates hearing.
He will
but
come
we are
and
saying
deny.
that the candidates, all the candidates who appeared before us denied. One person did not have to deny because he didn't spend. The one who got the one vote.
He voted for himself.
He didn't even vote for himself. Someone voted out of conviction.
Okay.
So again, spending money doesn't necessarily mean that inducement will operate to change the vote of that person. So that person, voted out of conviction. So you will do, it will happen.
So you're saying
so people say, we contribute to somebody, we contribute. So you must cap that one too. So if you are Evans, you are working at Joy and you have other businesses, there must be a cap on how much you can donate to a candidate in a political party. We must monitor all, if not, we are not going anywhere. And like you disclose, I wasn't going to disclose that. Like you disclose, these are principles that must inform candidates. You know what the lacuna in the law? Yeah. The Political Parties Act, the Constitution says that parties must file their returns. Where are the candidates?
Yeah. That's not happening. So enforcement has been a problem.
No,
but that's why I said, when you pass the law and you don't enforce, then what's
so that is why
the laws are adequate.
They're not adequate yet.
Okay.
That's why you must reform the Electoral Commission. Because we have boxed two institutions into one. The regulation of political parties and the conduct of public elections. They have over-concentrated on the conduct of public elections to the detriment of regulation of political parties. So even political parties who don't file their returns, nothing happens. No chance.
Let me get Richard, and I'll come to you. So,
I wanted to...
okay, please do.
Esther says that it's normal. And that all political parties do it. And cited our youth congress, and there's an illegality being pervasive. Make it normal.
Yeah, but it's normalized.
No, is it normal?
So it's not. It's abnormal.
It's abnormal. It's not
but
normal.
You have normalized.
No, it's not normalized.
But
it's just that it's not being enforced. It's not normalized.
The problem.
It's not to say that it's normalized is to accept it as a norm.
It is now.
It's not a norm.
I mean, every election we take it for granted.
It's a positive value. This is negative.
And we are not able.
No, we are not. It's not a norm. You can't say it's normalized.
Solve it.
The best you can say is that we tolerate it.
Yeah, okay.
But we tolerating it doesn't derogate from the core issue that we have to deal with it.
So how do we avoid
You understand? So we must make that clear distinction that it is not. And that is why political parties and actors must pause, reflect, and recalibrate their attempt to deal with that issue. Because it's not normal. And I agree with her. People who cannot raise enough resources will be checked out of the race. And that's why...
They actually may be the people who actually will bring the value to the...
Yeah, and they may be the people. Yeah. And that's why women and the youth are disproportionately checked out of our electoral process because they can... So it's not normal. The second thing is that because it's widespread, it requires somebody to lead the way.
Yeah.
That's why we have revolutions. That's why we have... Because if an act is pervasive, you need somebody with revolutionary thinking.
Who is that?
The way.
Who is that person now?
The NDC is showing the way.
Which one?
When you have already...
Richard,
they've not shown any way.
Richard, yeah.
You have endorsed the way.
It landed for you. It landed for you.
They have not shown the way. If anything, they have obscured the way. They have obscured the way.
They have validated the way.
Everybody thought that they were going to take an action, and this was supposed to be. Especially now the excuses they are giving that, they don't have time, they have to go and file. But Mustafa was in the Kwandai saying that they needed to run an election. And we said, no, let's wait till we deal with the court case. Say, there's no time. They start campaigning when the case was in court. But for this one, they say they don't have time, so they have to bring the candidate they have problem with. But you see, the truth of the matter is that the proposal by But seriously, while Honorable Ilusa Fuseni finds it problematic, it's actually practicable.
Yes.
To the extent, you know, he mentioned the United States, so I was hoping that he will carry on with that.
Yeah.
Because they have something almost akin to what he said.
No, it's not.
I'm saying it's akin. Hold on.
The delegates are known.
No, they are not.
They're all known.
No.
And
they're not.
There are many states
Hold on.
In fact, Democrats can sometimes vote.
Tell you how the delegates in the United States. So what I'm thinking is that in the United States,
so you won't let
if he's a Republican, he's registered as such.
Yes.
If I'm a Democrat, I'm registered as such.
But you see, hold on.
We are the That's why they have.
But it's not uniform in all states.
That's why they have super delegates.
No.
You understand? So
but wait.
And I'm going to Georgia to campaign. I'm going to see Democrats.
Just wait.
Let me hear.
The point we're making here is that while I'm agreeing with him, is that their system is akin to what he's proposing. Because you win a state, okay? So you win typically a state like maybe California, for example, and you get to about 54 or so electoral college votes. Mm-hmm. Those individuals then will now have to cast the ballot, the assumption, for the president to win. And they need about 270 of those people out of the 538 or so to vote for the president. That's the impression created that you have voted all right, but the person to elect the president is that 54 individuals.
And the party
they know them.
No. Those people are selected to go. You understand? So his process is like that. But I'm just saying that the difficulty with
they're not selected on the day of election.
No. I'm saying that. I'm saying that. Look at what he is proposing to the extent that you have done a general election. Popular vote does not count to elect the president. So you can win a popular vote, but you won't win.
Yeah.
You understand? So when you are campaigning to win presidency, you are focused on the electoral college, the 270 that you will get, not the larger population. Yeah. So you are campaigning to appeal to people beyond the masses that you're appealing to. That process can work. But I think I agree with Honorable Fuseni on a level that you can use legislation. Mm-hmm. So all the political parties, like New Patriotic Party, we can amend our constitution to expressly ban that behavior.
In fact, that behavior is banned under our present laws.
But
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that. Yes.
The internal processes.
Yeah,
the internal process.
That regulation is immediate.
It affects the internal processes.
No, we agree. But that's why they are finding it difficult to deal with. Because they are saying that they are party constitution.
And you also don't have it in your...
Exactly.
Yes.
So we're saying that...
And again, in all our constitutions, both NDC and NPP, there is a small caveat that says that except that the National Executive Committee can do otherwise.
So we provide...
But in the absence of that, I think in 52 in your constitution,
yes.
Even that, they couldn't provide for it so that they allow the election. You understand? So you need an express provision to deal with that matter. Okay? So we need to do that. That's the way to go.
What I'm saying is that...
No, I don't disagree with you.
Not there. The proviso provides the opportunity for the National Executive Committee or whatever body acknowledged by
that's the case. They are saying that the effect is saying that they don't have time. I understand. Even though that provision is there. Exactly. But if it was expressed in the book, then they would have acted on it. You understand?
Yeah, I'll come to you.
So the point for me is that we need to really appreciate this, and which, of course, around here, we all agree that this is not acceptable.
No, you don't.
We just have to.
You don't agree. No, you haven't.
Oh, you think it's okay?
You haven't agreed.
No, I didn't.
Okay, but this
it happened in your election.
No, that's not a current I'm talking about. He wants to do politics. I am saying that.
That's why we are here.
Mustafa, hold on. So what I'm trying to say is that there's consequences to it. When people say elections have consequences, definitely they do have consequences. Because what it is that when you accept money to vote, what you have done is to replace a leadership with vision, with leadership procured through cash. You understand? And for you, the electorate, you come back and pay for it because what you have obtained in terms of cash now, you pay for. The cost is poor governance that you will get as a result. So we need to make a practical case so that people can understand there's consequence to that transaction. Really, because then it weakens our democracy at the end of the day. So we want to have a broad conversation. But the NDC, as I'm saying, they missed a magnificent opportunity.
But what do you expect? What has to do?
So what you know? You can find you can find a new candidate because a wrong is a wrong. Because in the statement, in the statement they issued, they said that conduct is against their values.
Legal challenges.
I'm coming. But they themselves say that conduct is against their values. And if something is against your values, you don't normalize.
You must use proper legal.
But no, due process. But how do you then use the law to qualify your own values that you hold expressly? You can't do that. So I'm saying that this is an internal
matter. You must demonstrate that the values have been.
I'm coming. Yeah, because you have proven that to them that they found it.
But there is only a body that can do that.
No. But we're talking about the party. You understand? We're talking about the party, which has a provision to say that anything that is not expressed, I'm coming.
But it's not a legal entity.
I'm coming. Anything, but you are a properly constituted group.
Yeah, but
so I'm saying that you have made a provision in your constitution that what is not expressly stated. What is not expressly stated in your constitution, your functional executive committee can't deal with it. So you have that avenue.
Yeah, but
yet they fail to deal with it. And they are moving forward with a candidate who is potentially
refuse to go by your
potentially. Let me hear Gbande.
We in this conversation are back to one thing that the NDC is leading a golden opportunity to redefine our election process that will kill and make our election process devoid of all these tendencies that we are talking about. The MPP's invitation of us to proceed with what was irrational, impracticable, under the circumstances, is not good faith.
It's invitation to chaos.
Yes, one. I would say that, look, the candidate, the focus is on Baba Jamal now because he has won that
election, yes.
Baba Jamal have served this country as a Minister of State, an MP. He is currently a Deputy Director of Election of the NDC. He served this country with standard.
Until the 7th, he was the Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria.
You cannot associate Baba Jamal with any brush of our state laws as far as serving the public is concerned. So this is a man who have distinguished himself.
He's the first time offender.
Wait, hold on.
He's the first time. Hold on. Because your committee says that what is that?
Hold on.
So he's the first time offender.
You can't throw an only.
He has not go a court. NDC is not a court.
But I'm saying NDC court. The first offender has been punished. He told that at the start.
You cannot throw an only child with a dirty water away.
But when you implement the law, somebody in your mind.
I'm coming. Stop what you are saying.
I'm coming. This is
not what you are saying.
This is also an individual who have served this party in the capacity of a Deputy General Secretary.
There's no doubt about that.
Hold on. Distinguished himself. But for this action and this conduct, on any day, the party and every single member of the NDC will stand behind Baba Jamal for anything.
So then why did you issue that letter?
We are going to do that in this.
Why did you issue
now,
the
let me
letter?
come to you. Richard, if the MPP had the wit and the mind...
Forget about MPP.
Wait, hold on.
This NDC matter we are talking about.
Hold on. If the MPP had the wit and the might to do what we did today, I swear, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia wouldn't be a candidate. His candidate would have won the election.
Don't allow him to he's obfuscating the matter. He must answer. Why their report says what is done is wrong, but they can't punish the man. Then he's moralizing to us that the man is clean. How is it clean?
He's putting my former president on the
last
You're not here.
I know. We need to get that. I know. Let's take the big issues.
Yes.
You have made a
Evans.
Let's come.
Evans.
Let me conclude.
Let me.
Yes.
See what you have made them uncomfortable. You know,
Who uncomfortable?
You know, Chibi said and things fall apart. That the old woman is always an easy when dry bones are
amazing.
But let me make a last comment to my sister, who made very salient point about women.
Esther, yeah.
I think that is the reverse, and I disagree with him because learning from politics, women in politics are actually stronger than men. And I make this position forcefully because I can support it with data. So to make an argument as if women
data,
are
though?
vulnerable.
When you say data, where does that come? Because there's so much
from where
literature
I come
available.
From where I come from, if you gave a woman a position, the tendency that woman will produce a much better result than a man is very high.
Yeah,
But he has to get the power to do that. He has to get the power first.
A position defeats the feminist principle.
No, we are talking about
that's not. He's talking about the barriers.
The access. The access is not there. So how can you see the production?
Having said so, we invite the MPP. We are leading a path.
Lead MPP. Talk about
leading a path. No. We are leading a path that you. I'm coming. We are leading a path that is dusty. We are certainly going to move out of that stage in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
The NDC will pride itself to be having a regulation as far as this is concerned.
Look, a forward-looking regulation.
The MPP should begin to run to the table of integrity.
What would this look like? Let's look at the solution. What's the anticipated outcome?
Maybe you should ask Honorable
outcome because he's on a committee.
If you look at our first...
When the party set up the 7 market, what did you have in mind? The vision?
When you look at our first statement, we envisage what will be in the end.
Okay.
That in future, we should have an express provision defining...
Andy, he's articulating
we should have an express provision in our constitution mandating the party to be able to deal with this fairly and squarely. Two, that going into the future, we should also be looking at strengthening the Electoral Commission and for our investigative bodies to be more vigilant. So that when this happens, we don't come on a media platform to discuss it, but we should actually be seeing some more action. So that in future, if this thing had happened in the NDC again, an election would have been nullified, a person would have been outrightly suspended from the party, and for it to serve as a deterrent.
Because the rules would have specified.
The rule would have specified. So NDC is leading the way. People can criticize and we take responsibility for that. We don't dismiss...
That you failed.
What? No.
To take action when it matters.
Which action? No, your invitation is bad faith.
Stick to the big picture.
And so the NDC will lead this path.
Whoever is less or follow its destination,
when our processes crystallizes into fruits where we can see the end of it, I'm sure the NPP will be wobbling.
Yeah.
They will be
Don't worry, we'll invite them to the table.
By the way, Richard, before I come to Andy, this definitely is an opportunity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because the nation, as you can see, everybody's united behind this.
Why did you say absolutely? Did you see it as an opportunity?
Oh, yes,
it does.
Oh, I'm an opportunity to do what?
It does.
Opportunity you have failed to take.
So I'm coming to Richard. What is it? Because I saw you also issued a statement.
Yeah.
That you wanted, because clearly you also admit that it's a problem.
Yeah.
Is the MPP going to take a second look at your own internal processes and then come to the table with bigger picture sort of proposals?
Absolutely.
For the national outlook?
In the interest of democracy, I agree, our democracy is weakened when people are voting on the basis of cash. And therefore, the value of governance is completely undermined. So that one, there is no issue about that.
Okay.
But my concern is how we can take the opportunity. This was very opportune.
I mean, yeah, it's happened. I want to look forward now.
So yes, of course, the New Patriotic Party, I think this is a conversation we'll be having. I favor because I favor a drastic means, including even sanctioning candidates when it's found out that you have engaged in that. Because if I am not and you are, then you are unevening the playing field. But you see, beyond that, what the parties will do and all of that, our law enforcement agencies must work. Yeah. Because on the face of it, PNDC Law 284 is clear. So police should have actually arrested people right there and then at the moment. The receiver and the giver.
Yeah.
They should have done that, but they haven't done that. Now they are waiting for the political parties to go and act.
No, you don't have you don't have the right.
But I'm just saying that
presidential candidates actually have been arrested.
No problem.
What makes it even worse is that you share fertilizers.
I don't know anything.
You ordered fertilizers for election.
Look, I don't know about that.
What are you talking about?
I don't know about
it. You will discuss it.
No, he's making a point that we all agree that the police, after you make the point, law enforcement, which is why you can disagree.
Yeah,
right?
so truthfully, it's not only the political parties, but the law enforcement agents must work. All fabric of society must work to cure this matter. Yeah. The delegate who is the receiver of it must reform, because really you are actually just shooting yourself in the foot by taking that, because you are then going to stay a long dry spell of disservice, okay, because you've been paid for whatever it is that you've done by electing somebody. The leadership will not be there, commitment will not be there, you'll cry until a time where he comes for primaries again or whatever again, then it is dysfunctional. It is not democracy anymore. It is some kind of auction system.
Monocracy.
Yes, which is dysfunctional. So we agree.
Okay.
To the extent that we all must come to the table with ideas to fix it. Definitely.
You know, sir, what should we expect from your committee?
Oh yeah, the committee is a forward-looking one. There are many gaps that we have identified. All parties vet candidates, and when they vet and qualify candidates for elections, there's no mechanism for the party to hold them accountable. We must address that.
Okay.
So after all the 5 candidates being vetted and approved, what could the party do? So if a candidate is acting in a manner inconsistent with the Constitution during the campaign, what do you do as a political party? It's a question we must answer. The provisions, the new guidelines that we're trying to develop must answer to that. Okay. There's a gap. Number 2, what regulates the conduct of candidates before, during, and after elections? What regulates their conduct? There must be robust guidelines. Can candidates, while still conducting interviews, while still undergoing elections, be conducting interviews? Can they do that? So you must regulate that. Yeah. You must clearly regulate that. What can they do? What can they do? They want to set up food joints to feed delegates.
Restaurants.
Where do they set it up? Yeah. And they set it up closer to the venue of the election.
You're absolutely right.
Because there's a law that forbids treating, giving somebody food with an intent that you can induce that person to. So what do? You need to regulate that. There are gaps, significant gaps. Candidates are exploiting those gaps. Sure. Okay, now we also see that NIMA had just a little over 1,000 delegates. Maybe that's why they were able to spend that much and also
increase the delegates,
which
MPP did last year.
We are looking at the possibility of increasing the delegates. Okay, so that your amount.
And so because of time, I want to quickly hear from Andy. Andy, what would your party now, because you're a senior member, you've been on the receiving end of the problem, what would you want your party to do as part of this national movement towards a solution?
Yeah, I go with the legislation, but also I go with the procedures.
The procedures.
So that...
NDC's position.
Well, whatever. It can take NDC to start, because you are now...
And then you
are now before the law. And I also want us to test the law.
Yeah.
Okay. We have all come to condemn what happened in Iowa East. And for your information, I used to be the vice chairman of my party in Iowa East. 97, 2000, thereabout.
I know.
Yeah, I was there.
That's why you were operating around Newtown.
Yes, Newtown. Nima, 441.
Yeah.
All those things.
That's where the drugstore was.
Yes. So I was the vice chairman of the party during those days. Yes. So I know the area very well. And I think that let's test the law. If we have all seen something wrongly done in the process, notwithstanding wherever we are, what privileges can we take within the law as a political party, particularly in our case? And what precedent can we set for the future? And how do we also reform our processes of voting? And how do we also manage the delegate system? Because the delegate system obviously has failed us as we speak now. And I brought a suggestion. I'm not saying that it is foolproof, but it is something that can be the basis of our planning, so that we can reform that and make it perfect or near perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
But anyhow, people have opportunity of influencing delegates. They will bring a wrong candidate at all times. And indeed, when it happens like that, the people who invest in the process the more, they will be the winners. And the danger is that in recent times, I've seen people who have dirty money, bringing that dirty money into politics.
Absolutely.
In the past, they were using those dirty monies to sponsor candidates. Now they are using those dirty monies to sponsor themselves.
Yes.
So in the event that we have a parliament that has criminals in parliament because they had the money to sponsor themselves, they are going to work against the laws that we are going to
interest of the state.
And when there are no guardrails,
when
there are no guardrails,
will go off.
People will go off.
So,
I'm Martin. There was no guardrail.
You see,
He ended
so the danger is that we are heading towards.
This is from left field.
Because now, if you look at people who are coming to politics, they don't spend the money to support candidates. They themselves are candidates.
Are coming. And so, we've seen that, especially with the Galamsey Kingpins. They themselves are now becoming
money launderers. Galamsey.
All of them are coming in.
Which Galamsey has gotten worse under NDC?
Here you go. Let me quickly wrap up with Esther. Give me your quick thoughts finally, as far as the gender side is concerned. What you want to see immediately? I know you are running a project. What are some of the key proposals briefly in a minute?
Okay, so we want to see a more gender responsive reform. The reform has to be more inclusive. We want to see a system where parties or candidates are supposed to declare who their financiers are. And I think we are copying from the US. If you look at the Democratic Party, Republican Party, they always declare who are their financiers, and you see how much money they've brought in. We need to have the same thing here. And again, most importantly, we need to have a protection for the whistleblowers, particularly women, who will be willing to say, this individual has given me X amount of money and all that. And I think also that it's important for political parties to strengthen their education to their members. Because to be a delegate, I think, is one of the most honorable positions to have in a political party. Because you are the one helping the state to get a president, to get a member of parliament. And so it is not an ordinary position for you. And so I think the parties need to intensify their education. I know the NDC have their Social Democrat Institute and MPP also trying to do Dankwa Institute and stuff like that. But the education have to go on, and the kind of delegates that they also select, so that we move the conversation from money to what can you do, how best can you serve the country to make us, your HR people, which is the delegates, proud that you are doing the work that we need. And again, when we are able to select good leaders, that's where we have people are going to have jobs. So if you're having employment, you are making money of your own. Human dignity. You don't need to be induced to make decisions based on a motorbike or 10 CDs or TV or anything. And so for us, that's what we want to see.
Thank you very much, Joseph, and I'm grateful. This is the conversation is beginning. Thankfully, the Constitutional Review Committee proposal also will be will come, and then we can have a bigger national conversation about it. Enjoy the rest of the evening.